Hi, everybody. I'm Clinton from Clinton and Reed, and today I am excited to present to you the director of L'Immobilière Montaigne, Michel Sétan, who is the director of the agency and is our chosen partner for all things real estate here in France. So before we begin our interview, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on Michel, and then we'll go ahead and jump into some questions regarding the real estate industry here in France. So Michel began his studies at École de Louvre in Paris, later working for quite some time at the Louvre, right? And then you had a stint in event communication. You wrote a romance novel. You spent quite a bit of time from 2009 to 2017. You were working as a cultural coach. So you taught culture for individuals, groups, and businesses with passion in art and history and literature. And then you have been working in luxury real estate since 2017, launching L'Immobilière Montaigne just a few years ago. And we're in the middle of all of this great business and things taking off. So very exciting. And thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
So we're going to jump right into questions because I know that this is a very important topic, real estate in general, for our listeners and for our followers, and how it can differ greatly from where they might reside, particularly in the United States. So Paris has always been a very desirable property market. And from your perspective, what makes the market here in Paris uniquely complex, again, in comparison to perhaps some other countries?
Well, first of all, it's unique because Paris has a special place in people's heart. It's both the city of love, city of the arts, city of lights since the beginning of the 20th century. So it's a really special place indeed. But it's also a complex city because it's quite a small city, actually. It's quite a small capital. It doesn't expand horizontally, despite the creation of what is called the Grand Paris, the Greater Paris, which includes different cities around Paris inside an entity, administrative entity, actually. It's not like London, you have the Greater London.
Right.
Here it's more individual cities which are linked to Paris with through new lines, new metro lines, new trolley lines, new train lines. So it's more an administrative thing than a greater Paris indeed. So it can't expand horizontally and it can't expand vertically too, because you don't have a lot of buildings, high buildings in Paris. You don't have skyscrapers, for instance, except maybe some famous like the Tour Montparnasse or the new Tour Triangle in the south of Paris, and La Défense also, which is a sort of city, an economic place actually for banks, for insurance companies, etc.
Generally speaking, in the center of the city, we're hitting like a maximum of 6-7 floors.
Yeah,
maximum.
Exactly. Yeah. You have rules actually, very powerful and strict rules in Paris for buildings. So it's a small city. It's a unique city, and it's also city which shows a unity actually, because since the 19th century and the reign of the Napoleon III, the last emperor of the French, with his famous minister Haussmann, the city has changed completely. They destroyed a lot of parts of the city which date back from the Middle Ages for some of them, and created a new face with this famous Haussmannian buildings, Haussmannian apartments. So it's a special place, and you have, as I said, many rules to protect the buildings, to protect the monuments, to protect the views, the surroundings of historic monuments. So I think it's a part of what people want when they buy something in Paris.
And it presents its unique challenges because we're not building upwards anymore. We're reselling buildings that have already been around for 100, 150 years old. They're not growing. Maybe they add a floor or two maximum, but they're not growing. And then people want to stay in the center of Paris, and that's not growing either. So it's a lot of, and it's one of the most sought after cities in the world in terms of real estate. So non-growing city, and it's not growing vertically either, and everyone wants to be here. So I think, yeah, it definitely presents those challenges, and then obviously that reflects in pricing.
The offer is quite limited, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think one of the big questions that a lot of people ask themselves when they come to buy in France or even to rent, but specifically to buy, what is the sales process like? Because sometimes we have clients who come in and they're like, okay, I'm ready to write a check. Where are my keys, you know?
No, it's not the same here.
No.
Actually, let's suppose that you found the property of your dreams in Paris. You made an offer and the offer was accepted by the buyer. That's the starting point. And from that point, the first thing you have to learn is patience. You have to be patient,
right?
Because a quick sale in Paris longs maybe 2 months. It's the quickest one, I think. And the usual sales take maybe between 3 and 4 months.
Right.
Okay,
the long process.
Yeah, depending on many things. For instance, if the buyer is going to pay cash or is going to ask for a loan, this is very different. You have administrative delays. You have, I would say, cooling off time also to take your decisions.
Right.
So usually it takes between 3 and 4 months. Okay, and sometimes, in some special situations, more than 4 months. If we discover some problems in the apartment or in the co-ownership, it's going to be settled, of course, but it's going to take time. So at least 3-4 months.
And so when I arrive, let's say we find the apartment, I make an offer. So I make an offer, you're the real estate agent. I make an offer, it's accepted by the homeowners. What's the first step in the process of accomplishing the sale?
Well, the first step is called the promesse de vente. Well, all the process, or quite all the process, is made with the help of a notary. Is an official person, is an official lawyer who is in charge of the sale and is going to check everything, to list everything, just to prove that the sale is done with transparency and everything is okay for the buyer and for the seller. Okay. So the first step is this promesse de vente. Of course, before that, the real estate agent has made his job. So he collected a lot of documents about the apartment and the property. But the notary is going to check everything again and is going to ask for many more documents. And this first step takes approximately 1 month, not more than 1 month, sometimes 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but not more than 1 month. And when you have signed this promesse de vente, you have, I talked about the cooling off period, the cooling off time. You have 10 days to think about the process. Do I want to buy? Do I want to keep buying? Or do I want to stop? And if you want to stop, you can say, okay, I don't want to buy this apartment. I thought about it. No. So no explanations and no fees. No money spent.
So just to recap, we've made an offer. It's been accepted. We are put in touch with a notary, right? The notary prepares this first contract, which is the promesse de sale, promesse de vente. When we arrive to the promesse de vente, is there a deposit? Well,
in the contract, usually it's said 10% of the price, but the notary accepts 5%. So you have to pay 5% of the price at this time. But if you withdraw, if you decide not to buy, you don't have to pay anything.
Within those 10 days? And then we've signed the promesse de vente. The deposit for the 5% has been made. Then we have 10 days to retract our offer and say, actually, I've changed my mind and I get my money back. But after these 10 days, we're locked in. The deposit is now going to be staying with the notary. If we pull out after the promesse de vente, we lose the deposit.
You lose this deposit. Yeah.
So let's say we pass the 10 days. I'm still satisfied. I would like to move forward with the sale. There is one more step to this, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the final step, actually.
Okay.
With the final deed, with the signature of
Yes.
of the deed
Yeah.
itself. This time is a bit longer, between 2 and 3 months.
Okay.
Because as I said a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
you have administrative delays, you have laws, you have different delays. You have to collect answers from the city of Paris, for instance. You have this cooling off, this reflection time.
Yeah.
And you have also a delay if you asked for a loan.
Yeah.
If you ask for a loan, it's going to take between 1 and 2 months.
Okay.
And once again, when you have your loan, when you receive the reply of the bank,
Yeah.
you have this reflection time again,
Okay.
10 days.
Okay.
Okay, and you can say, okay, finally, I don't buy, I don't want to take the loan.
Right.
But now you lose your deposit because
Okay.
you had your loan was accepted,
Right.
but you refuse it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So it's a much longer process than, for example, in the United States, where
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a longer process, but I would say it's also a secure process
Okay.
because everything is checked.
Right.
Okay, once, twice, once before the promesse de vente, the second time for the final deed, for
Right.
the final signature.
Yeah.
And you have also, during this second step, you have also the accountability part.
Right.
So they're going to check everything, what you have to pay, what the seller have to pay, and they're going to make a global account, and they're going to share
All the
different
documentation.
Yeah,
Make
exactly.
sure everything's clean. So
Exactly.
to speak, as much as one can be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So usually, if you buy an apartment in France,
Yeah.
it's really secure, and you can buy with a lot of confidence.
So a follow-up question would be, let's say we find, as a buyer, I find someone who's selling a home without a real estate agency, and I decide to go through a transaction with this individual. Is a notary still required in France, or can you?
It's the same process.
It's the same process.
Yeah.
Okay. So no matter what, in France, we have to have a notary that takes
Yeah.
care of it. And
It's mandatory.
And in fact, we have usually 2 notaries that take part in.
Usually, yeah.
Usually.
You can have one in common,
Right.
buyer, seller, but usually people prefer to have their own notary. So you have a notary for the buyer and one for the seller.
Represents them and their interests.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. And I know that a lot of time, from my experience working in real estate, families in France often have quite a relationship with their notaries, because they will do real estate, but they'll take care of successions when someone passes in the family, marriage contracts, the whole thing. So a notary is a very, very important part of the administrative life here in France, real estate being a big part of that.
Exactly.
Okay. So you've had a very long career now so far in real estate, in particular luxury real estate. Have you noticed any changes in consumer behavior since the beginning of your career?
Yes, especially since the COVID period,
Right.
and the global financial crisis that followed. People are now more cautious, I would say. The market is more complex, the market is more uncertain. So they are really, they thought twice before buying something.
Right. I hear a lot of people who were working in real estate at the beginning of COVID, when the prices were real high, they were having a great time selling.
Yeah, it's more complicated now.
It's more complicated now.
And the second thing is making the market more complex. It's that you have global offer now.
Yeah.
10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you couldn't buy an apartment in Dubai, for instance. You couldn't buy an apartment, I don't know, in Africa.
Right.
Well, Now you can buy a luxury real estate everywhere in the world.
Right.
You have new trends, you have new locations. So people can buy an apartment in Dubai, they can buy an apartment in Morocco, they can buy a property in South Africa, in different places.
Yeah.
So the usual luxury locations such as Paris, London, New York, etc. This has changed.
Right.
So yeah, it's more complex and more complicated. We have to the sellers and the real estate agents have to be more. I would say aggressive, but it's not the right word. More on the edge.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I understand. I want to talk briefly about L'Immobilière Montaigne as a brand. We work both in rental and purchase, and for Clinton and Reed, rental is such an important part and need for our clients. A lot of people are coming over here, not sure how long they're going to stay, if they're going to stay in Paris or go elsewhere. So rental just makes more sense. What is the process like for renting a property, particularly for foreign clients, and what are those challenges?
Well, first you have to know that the rental market is complicated, more complicated than the sale market,
Yes.
of course, because you have a small offer and a lot of people who want to rent something. So the competition is really huge, really hard.
Really competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to rent something in Paris, you have to know also that if you buy a long-term traditional lease,
Yeah.
okay, the price are
Regulated.
yeah, regulated, capped.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the owner can't ask for
They can't ask just for the price that they want. In fact,
Yeah,
it has
yeah.
to be, there's a maximum that they can put.
Exactly. So this is the usual situation. But for people from abroad, for foreigners who want a short-term rental,
Yeah.
you can find other kind of leases, and in this case, the price is not limited, is not regulated.
Okay.
So it's called, for instance, you have the bail civil
Yes.
in France.
We know is an option that's often used by our clients because
Yeah,
it
exactly.
fits their situation.
It's very simple, but of course the price is high.
Yeah.
So the benefit of this, it's that you have less competition, of course.
Right.
So you can find more easily something,
Right.
but at a higher price.
Okay. So we just launched our first joint project between Clinton and Reed and L'Immobilière Montaigne, Résidence Champ de Mars, which is a fractional ownership property in the 7th arrondissement, as the name implies, near the Champ de Mars. Could you tell us a little bit more about the structure and why is it particularly unique and of interest for our clients?
Yeah, well, it's unique because it's very uncommon in France. It's very uncommon in Paris. Actually, we are selling this apartment, this wonderful apartment, giving onto the Champ de Mars and overlooking the Eiffel Tower. So premium location. It's very chic. The 7th district, 7 arrondissement, as we say in Paris, is very chic. So it's a beautiful apartment, and it is sold in 8 shares, 8 different shares. So you will have 8 co-owners actually who are going to share 1 year, 6 weeks per year.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's very flexible. It's very easy because you buy an apartment at a lower price because you have 8 owners, and you can lend your time to friends, to family. You can resell, of course, your share if you...
Because you're the actual owner of the property. I mean, this is the big difference between what we would have seen historically. People are familiar with what a timeshare is.
Yeah.
We're basically taking parts of the timeshare concept and getting rid of the parts we don't like and changing it so it's a much more attractive offering and have more control over the whole thing. I mean, you are the actual owner of the property.
Yeah, exactly. You are one of the owners of the apartment. And also you can, because it's a part of a big global network on the same principle. So if you don't want to come to Paris this year, you can trade your 6 weeks with another owner
Elsewhere,
everywhere
yeah.
in the world. If you want to go to, I don't know, Bali or Rio de Janeiro, or
right.
instead of Paris, you can do this. So it's a very interesting offer.
Gives you a lot of flexibility.
Exactly.
And I think that the important thing also to remember is that the 6 weeks of exclusive use that you have, you can actually book it through like an application that's designated for the hotel, or for the, excuse me, it's like a hotel, but designated for the property. And you can book, let's say, 4 days here, a week there. So it's not a block of 6 weeks. It's spread out throughout the year and you can use it as you wish. And then if you don't use all the 6 weeks, you can exchange it with another beautiful property that's of equivalent standing elsewhere in the world.
And it includes a lot of services.
Correct. And I think that's why the collaboration between our two companies, this is why it's so unique in this case. And it's one of the few, if only property in all of Paris that has this type of offering, is that we're going to be providing Clinton & Reed concierge services, again, running it like a hotel. So there will be housekeeping multiple times per week. You'll have a chauffeur, you'll have so there's a monthly fee that's included, but it covers everything: the HOA fees, the building operator, the gardienne that's downstairs, having us on call throughout the day to be able to assist you, and then a lot of a la carte services. So if you want to, I don't know, have a private chef, you want to have a party hosted, you want to have dinner reservations made, all of that included. But you're in your own home.
Yeah.
You know?
You're the owner, but at the same time, you don't have the burden of a full-time occupation.
Right, right. So no, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
And we're selling this at how many per share? It's 1.3 million.
Exactly 1.295
thousand.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. For 8 shares. And so if someone wanted, for example, to buy more than 1 share, they could potentially buy 2, 3, or the entirety if they wanted. But
we'll make a discount.
Yes, it's a very exciting collaboration between L'Immobilière Montaigne and Clinton & Reed, and I think it's really providing a unique offering on the market that we don't see elsewhere, particularly in Europe and in France. And I know with my clients, we have clients that have purchased these beautiful properties in the multi-millions, and unfortunately, they have busy lives. They're not living here full time. They go back and forth between their home country and France, and they end up spending 1 month, maybe 2 in the apartment overall. And the apartment's empty for the rest of the year. And they don't want to rent it out, which I understand. So I think this is a unique offering in that sense, because it allows you to have exactly that and not actually spend the full amount for this beautiful property. You spend a fraction of it, and you get more with it because you have the concierge services included. So very, very excited about the potential. And I hope that it will be the first of many properties like this. I really think it's an added value for our clientele. Well, Michel, I want to thank you so much for joining us today and explaining a little bit, very briefly, about the different aspects of the French market and the Parisian market, and explaining the differences to, again, the French market and the international buying process. I think it's an incredibly important and insightful conversation. And I know that's something that is very important for so many people who are just arriving within the country and trying to demystify a little bit what that process is. I think a lot of time it comes off as being a big, very complicated, complex machine here. But actually, in fact, while indeed it is a little bit complex, this process is in place to protect both the buyer and the seller and to help make sure that the process can be done with confidence. And while we do have those unique challenges in Paris for the market and for what is here and what's available, there is a very unique offering that is here that we don't see in any other city in terms of architecture, in terms of apartments. And I think this is really what brings so many people coming back to the city to be looking for their dream property, in France. If you have any interest or need for assistance with real estate projects or interests or questions here in Paris or Greater France, please do not hesitate to reach out to Michel and his team at L'Immobilière Montaigne, or to us at Clinton & Reed. Be very happy to assist you and help further answer any questions you might have and assist you in your real estate projects. So that's a wrap for today's interview. Thank you, Michel, for joining us.
Thank you, Clinton.
And we look really forward to continuing to work with you and providing the best that there is on the French real estate market to our clients at Clinton & Reed.
My pleasure.